Some people seem to be born with charmed lives. Some are lucky in love, and others are lucky with money. Good fortune and the reasons for it are as elusive as the reasons for great catastrophe and sudden tragedy. All of us are at the whim of fate, which does with us what it will without notice. This story from Mary Hughes in America will have painful familiarity to many of us who experienced the New Year fires.
On the inside, it is an average California family mealtime. German-born Doris and Vietnamese-born To Bui sharing 2 family-sized pizzas with their 7 children on a Friday night. Everything seems normal in the Bui house on the inside. It is only when the camera pulls back, when you start to see the Buis from a distance, do you know that the scene is not so normal. The street they live on is not a normal street. It is called Tahiti Avenue on a bluff called Mystic Hills in Laguna Beach, south of Los Angeles. It is a street of desolation and destruction, so familiar to Sydney's suburbs since the January fires. California had its own Holocaust a few months earlier. More than 500 homes burned down in late October in a firestorm that ravaged the state. To Bui's daughter Angie was at school.
From what I saw from the high school of the fire, it looked really scary. It was big, it was just a big fire line, and it was moving steadily towards us. So as we were evacuating, you just didn't know what was going to happen.
The Bui family fled in the afternoon of October 27th, moments before fire swept through Mystic Hills with a fury that left only this one solitary house standing, the home of To Bui. Doris returned the next day.
All the houses are gone. All the houses are burned down, and across the street, the houses are burned down, and the next street, all the houses are burned down. And yeah, when we came further to our house, and then you see only the White House, a big white house, and nothing is around, only the ashes.
I stayed up the whole night watching TV without seeing anything that resembled my neighborhood. But the next morning, as President Clinton started his speech, they faded into a picture of Laguna Beach, and it was by helicopter, and suddenly I saw this big white house. And it took me a little while, but I realized it was my house.
Its lone survival became the symbol of hope for so many, the one monument of triumph that kept the spirits of exhausted firefighters alive during the endless days and nights of the inferno.
Jeff, the chief, he said when they arrived on the house, he felt like somebody was touching his shoulder and telling him, go and save this house.
But there is something more about the miracle of the Bui house that was not known back then. First, it is the only house in Mystic Hills that was not insured. And the reason it was not insured is this man. He is To Bui's father, a Vietnamese monk.
When he left Vietnam in 1975, he became very serious.
To Bui is a civil engineer who spent 15 years building houses in Germany before he married Doris and came to America. He is also a very spiritual man. He believes in a greater power, though he cannot describe it.
Are you religious?
I think so. I not pray. I cannot pray. But I think I'm spiritual.
Bui's life is dedicated to perfection, to doing perfect work. And when he got his father to ask the spirits if he should build on this Laguna Beach lot, he says he sensed their approval.
He began to pray. Praying is talking to God. He talking to God, and he talking to the spirit from this love.
He asked the spirit whether this would be a safe place for you to live.
Whatever the spirit accept us to living here.
For 2 years, Bui built the big white house at 1527 Tahiti Avenue with his own hands. And when it was completed, he did not take out the normal insurance. He invited his father over, and the house was blessed. When you meet Bui and his wife, you realize they are a special family. On the night of the fire, they turned to Buddha.
We gave it from hand to hand, and everybody was rubbing the Buddha's tummy and said, please, let nothing happen. And we hoped and prayed.
While the media made headlines of their survival, Doris, Toe, and their children did little rejoicing.
Nobody's around, you feel isolated, but the trees are still there, and it's weird looking at these trees and thinking, gosh, people used to live here, and you just walk, you don't see anybody.
Every morning when you wake up and you looked outside the windows and you saw the burned down houses, the ashes, and it was so terrible. It's so amazing. All the houses are burned down and everything is gone, and this white house is there. And you ask the question, why? Why this house survived?